What is up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the Dense Pixels Podcast. I'm your host, Brad, joined by my co-host, Micah.
Two things up front.
Okay.
I'd like to give a shout out to Josh, a mutual friend of ours named Devon, told me that you are a big fan of the show. So thank you very much for listening. We appreciate your patronage. And two, happy birthday, Brad.
One more revolution around the sun.
One more
completed.
year closer to death. How are you?
I'm good. For those of you that don't know, I care the least for my day of birth than anyone I've ever met in my entire life. Today was just Monday for me. I went to work this morning. I'm recording this podcast right now. I did get a apple cheesecake that I have partaken in already, which is delicious. Thank you, wife. And like I said, everything that I want is now uber expensive, and therefore I cannot get it as a gift. So, like I said, my wife's like, "What do you want for your birthday?" And I was like, "It doesn't matter because you can't afford it because it's like a $3,000 watch that I want right now, and we don't have $3,000 to spend on such things for a birthday present. We're not."
Look. You might want to just drop hints every once in a while. You never know. They might surprise you. But happy birthday. One more year on this planet. One more year on experiencing this.
Thank you. And I'm sure you're happy as well because like I said, now the temporary tremendous gap in age that between you and I has been closed. Once again.
Yes. Has been closed until July.
So
I will next year I'll be out of your decade bracket. Which is
true.
Yeah.
So later in the show, I know we talked about Borderlands last time Micah was on 2 weeks ago. We've now both beaten the game. We're going to talk spoilers later in the show. We're going to talk endgame later in the show. We will give you fair warning, though, before we get to that point. Micah, Carrie and I talked extensively about Link's Awakening last week. You have also been playing Link's Awakening. Tell us your thoughts.
So, you know me, I have a bit of a problem when it comes to purchasing video games. And I was on a plane for 5 hours and I wanted something to play. So I dropped 60 whole American real money bucks on Link's Awakening so I could play it on the plane. And I immediately had buyer's remorse. Yeah.
So here's the thing about Link's Awakening. So one of the big crux around the discussion last week Carrie and I had is this game worth $60? It is a very difficult thing to argue that it is because I felt not bad at all about Link's Awakening because I was able to purchase it for $55 and then I traded it in for $43. So basically I paid $12 to rent it essentially and got my money's worth out of it.
Yeah, I did not. I don't even know why I got it because I'm not even a huge fan of Link's Awakening, but
because it's Zelda, and it scratches that itch that does not get to be scratched that frequently anymore.
Yeah,
to top-down Zelda game.
Yep, and once I scratched it, I'm like, wow, this. I paid $60 for this. It's a good game, but it is not worth it to me. But if you've never played, like Carrie says, it's her favorite Zelda game. I'm curious to find out why.
Because it was our first one. It's a lot of it's the Final Fantasy VII effect, I think, in that specific instance. Not to say that Link's Awakening is bad, and I don't even think that Carrie would say that Link's Awakening is objectively better than Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild, yada, 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 yada. But it's a sentimental favorite.
Oh, okay. All right. I got you. Today, I play Marvel Ultimate Alliance a lot. And I put it down for a while because I got everybody up to 100 and almost maxed out everybody's abilities. And today they dropped the first expansion. I bought the season pass and they dropped the first expansion. And it's more game. They said that more story content would be there. They lied. It's not more story content. You get to play the story with modified enemies.
So it's just harder difficulty?
Well, they not even a harder difficulty. Like I would have appreciated a more difficult. They call it nightmare mode.
Right.
So you would think, oh wow, this difficulty must be outrageous. No, it's just some of the enemies are gimmicked and some of the enemies can gimmick you. Like some of the enemies can make you stronger, but it constantly saps your health because, this is the vampire expansion. And the only way to cure yourself is to kill a certain type of enemy, but that certain type of enemy can be reborn into a different type of enemy. It's convoluted and it doesn't make any sense.
Are the rewards at least better? Like, do you get more XP and better drop rates for the ISO 8s and stuff like that?
Not really. There's ISO 8 that you can get that gives you better drop rate, but that was in the base game.
Right.
So it really doesn't matter. The level cap has been bumped up to 150.
Oh no.
Which, I mean, I gotta do it. I gotta do it.
Is that something they're gonna do with every expansion? Are they gonna just jack it up 50 levels?
You know what? I don't mind if they do, if they make more difficult levels, like if they make harder difficulty levels. Right now there are 4 difficulty levels in the base game and nightmare mode, which is the gimmick level.
I mean, I don't know if they actually can up the difficulty though, because like we talked about when we talked about that game, it's kind of hard to make like bona fide builds in Ultimate Alliance. Like in Borderlands, like Mayhem works because you can build around your skill trees, and you can make a, character that plays a very specific way to kind of combat the loss of damage in certain areas or the extra shields and harder difficulties. But Ultimate Alliance doesn't really have that. So I guess it'd be more, you can't really just bump up the difficulty because they'll just make the content just harder for the sake of being harder.
Yeah, and that's all it is. It's just remixed content. They have this thing called Gauntlet mode where instead of, your infinity, it's just 3 to 5 infinity trials back to back, and you don't get a break in between. So you can't change your party. You can't get extra health, right? Like it's a gauntlet, but it's still the same remixed. It's still the same remixed areas and remixed enemies and stuff like that. So this first expansion is not. I mean, the characters are great. Blade is awesome. Moon Knight is awesome. Morbius is Morbius, and Punisher. I mean, I don't really use ranged characters in this type of game. So the first expansion is not really doing it for me. But I say that out of one side of my mouth, and then out of the other side of my mouth, I'm like, I got to get everybody to 150 though. So
it's cool that game is holding your attention the way that it does in being a time waster, essentially, because that's kind of what it is at this point.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just me hitting the Y button 4 times and then the X button. Like it's just that.
I mean, look, better to have something like that where you pay to fix $90 costs than something like Marvel Heroes where you can just pump endless amounts of money into it. So
yeah,
is the way I would look at it. So if you're looking for something new to play this week, there's a few new releases. The one that, of course, Mike and I are most excited about, Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, comes out for PS4, Xbox One, and Steam.
Can we talk about this for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, I was looking at videos on the internet, and it was a preview for Shadowkeep, right? And then when the preview for Shadowkeep went off, the next video auto-played, and Destiny New Light came up.
Right.
Now, I've been out of Destiny for a good long while.
So probably should explain. Okay, so Destiny New Light is technically also coming out tomorrow as well. Destiny New Light is the free-to-play version of Destiny 2, I should say, that starts tomorrow. So if you've never played Destiny before, you can download Destiny New Light for free. And you can play Destiny New Light. And there's actually a lot of fucking content available in New Light, because you basically get all of the year one campaign content, which is the Red War campaign, Curse of Osiris, and Warmind. You get all of the stuff that comes with that content, including the raids and any exotic weapons that come out. You get access to the Crucible. You get access to Gambit. You get access to the Strike playlist. You get access to pretty much everything in the game that's not gated behind a paywall. Now, if you want to get the Forsaken content, they have a bundle available that I think is $20 now. That gets you the Forsaken content plus the annual pass for year 2. So basically that would get you the Forsaken DLC, the campaign that comes with that, the raids that come with that, all the exotic quests that happen during year 2, basically all that stuff. And then if you want the current stuff, you would have to get Shadowkeep, and Shadowkeep also includes the season pass for the newest season, which is called Season of the Undying. And then there will be as the seasons change every 3 months, you can opt into those yourself. They're $10. I know that there's an annual or like a deluxe edition of Shadowkeep that's $60 instead of $35, which is what Shadowkeep normally costs. It gets you Shadowkeep and basically the annual pass for 2019-2020. So basically, if you want all that Destiny 2 has to offer, starting tomorrow, if you pay $80, you get everything. If you just want to check out the game, then it's free. You can play, and the cool thing with New Light is that since stuff like Gambit is not gated, since stuff like the Crucible is not gated, Strike playlists are not gated, you can still play with your friends. Like, if you have people that you know that play Destiny, you can get in with them. You'll start at 750 light, because 750 is the new base light level in the game. And then go on from there, basically.
That's pretty cool, man.
It's a brave new world.
This is a company trying to make good of what was previously done, because I was watching this New Light video. I was like, why am I seeing this again? But there's a lot more storytelling in the actual moment to moment gameplay. Mm-hmm. Like the ghost is talking to you and he is narrating.
Oh, that's the coolest part about New Light. So when you start a new character in New Light, and this goes for us, by the way, too. It's like if you delete one of your characters and start a new one of that class, you'll get the New Light introduction. And basically, the New Light introduction is the first level, the intro level from Destiny 1 until you find the ship and get to the tower. So they remastered that first sequence of events from Destiny 1. I think it's like 2 missions that you play, basically, to learn your character, find your ship, and then, get dropped off of the tower, and then you're just in Destiny at that point.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, what is that? Like, at first I thought they were gonna give you, I thought the new Light was gonna be Destiny 1 free to play.
No. They're not remastering the entire game. They're not remastering the entire game.
I was about to say, man. But still, this is very cool, because I like the idea of the story being told more through your ghost was just chatting away, man.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Like, the lore of Destiny is very interesting, but people don't think it's interesting because it's not spoon-fed to them. Like, you have to go seek it out. But I urge you to seek it out, and you'll probably enjoy it. But if you don't, it looks like they're going to do a better job of storytelling, which I have to believe is, the reason they're doing this, because they are free to tell the story the way they want to tell their story.
Well, and they also have even said that they're very conscious of the fact they've had all these, like, almost like episodes that don't seem to be really connected all that well. And starting with this new expansion, Shadowkeep, they're going to be connecting. So, like, they said that something will happen in Shadowkeep that'll kick off Season of the Undying. And then something will happen at the end of Season of the Undying through some event that they do or something of that nature that will kick off, that will lead into, like, the next season, and so on and so forth. Instead of having these just, like, disconnected, crises that Destiny kind of has been up to this point before.
Yeah.
So it should be really cool. So much added in this new expansion. I mean, really go seek it out for yourself. I mean, it is a yearly Destiny expansion, and those are the big ones. So there's a whole new campaign in this one. The short campaign. It's like I think it's like a 6-mission campaign, like they usually are in these expansions. But there's also going to be a new raid that starts very soon. There's obviously going to be new exotic quests. They're adding the seasonal artifact, which can get you exclusive perks, but they're only good for that season. They're adding the new Armor 2.0 system. Just so they're adding the battle pass, whatever the fuck they're calling it this year. They can get you progressive rewards as you go. So a lot of stuff in Shadowkeep. So looking very forward to hop back in Destiny. I really haven't been playing much Destiny for the past two and a half months or so.
Yeah, I it feels like it's been. I don't think it's been a year. It feels like it's been a year. Like I think it can't
have been a year because you played Forsaken.
Yeah, that's right. But I can't. I was nowhere near max level. When I stopped, I think I'm still at 680 light level or something like that.
You're not in 12 hours. You won't be. However long it is. And that's the thing too. Like if you're a lapsed Destiny player, with this new update, every piece of gear that you own is going to be jacked up to 750 right away.
Excellent.
Oh, and they're also changing the grind is getting a lot better too. I'm sorry to spend so much time on Destiny too.
They know what they signed up.
You knew what this was. So the leveling system is actually great. So you know how before, so first of all, 750 is the new base light. 900 is the new soft cap. So until you get to 900, every drop you get will be a higher power level than what you have. And then 950 is the new powerful cap. And then there's a hard cap of 960 that they're taking back to kind of the Destiny 1 methodology from before. So basically, once you get to 900, only powerful rewards and prime engrams will up your light level. And prime engrams are going to be less impactful. They're only going to give you 3 light levels above, but they are power levels above, but you'll get them more frequently apparently, and you won't start getting them until you get to 900, but you'll get a whole bunch as soon as you hit 900 apparently is how it'll go. And then once you get to 950, the only way to get to 960 is to do pinnacle activities. So that's like the raid, the Nightfalls, probably comp in some way, shape, or form, the new 3-man dungeon that they're putting in to this season as well. That's the only way that you can get all the way up to 960. So if you see someone rolling around 960, then you know that they're pretty serious, that they've done all of the prestige endgame content, essentially. Yeah. And your seasonal artifact will also give you additional power beyond that. So I think that they said you can get all the way up to 1,000 power with what the seasonal artifact, but then that's only good for this season. So when the new season starts, you'll have a new power grind that you have to chase after.
That's interesting.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and
that's cool, man.
The best part, so you know how if you were when you're getting powerful gear, right? And you know how sometimes you always have just one of your inventory slots that's dragging behind and you can never seem to get a drop for that slot when you need it. Yeah. Well, now when you get when you hit that soft cap of 900, your blues and your purples that you get that aren't powerful rewards, instead of dropping 15 levels below your current power level, they'll drop 3 levels below your current power level. So you might stand better odds of, even though it's not a powerful upgrade, you still might get something for that slot that's way higher than what you currently have in that slot at that moment, even because it's below your highest equipable item, basically.
Okay.
A lot of cool,
cool.
A lot of cool stuff going on. I'm really, really looking forward to it. What else is coming out this week? You got Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint coming to PS4 and Xbox One.
Wow.
Yeah, I snuck up on you, didn't it?
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, the video game remastered, comes to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Ready Set Heroes comes to PS4. This game is only on the list because I wanted to say the entire title, because it's ridiculous. A girl who chants love at the bound of this world comes to PS4 and Switch. By the way, I did not capitalize the words in that title because they are not capitalized in the title of the game for some reason. I just needed to point that out. And then October is on the precipice. It might even be here by the time you're listening to this podcast. We know what your free games are going to be for PlayStation Plus and Games with Gold. Pretty solid month for PlayStation Plus. We'll talk about Last of Us Part 2 later in the episode. Of course, The Last of Us, the first one, is going to be available for PS4 for free. And then MLB The Show 19 available for free for the first time they've ever done this, for the current MLB game being available for PlayStation Plus. Of course, the Major League Baseball playoffs getting ready to start. Of course, the Baltimore Orioles nowhere near being a playoff team. I think they won like 52 games or something like that out of a possible 162 this year. But I'd be remiss. Carrie would be upset if I didn't mention that her Washington Nationals will be in the MLB playoffs this year. And then Games with Gold over on the Xbox. Let's see here as it loads. I didn't even look at this beforehand. So, so basically, you get on Xbox One, you get Tembo, the badass elephant, who's going to be available from October 1st until October 31st. And then you get Friday the 13th from October 15th until November the 15th. And then your 360 games, from the 1st through the 15th, you get Disney's Bolt. And from the 16th through the 31st, you get Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, a.k.a. The least enjoyed of the Ninja Gaiden trilogy of games.
Wow, this is not...
You don't want to play Tembo, the badass elephant?
No. I think I'm good.
It's never a good sign when the article promoting the Games with Gold uses one of the 360 games as the featured image. That's not what you want to see ever when you're doing these free games.
You know what you do want to see? Our faces.
That's correct. Were you waiting for plaudits for your segue?
I mean, you know, I thought it was pretty decent, and I'm not really good at those. Go to youtube.com/densepixels and subscribe. You get clips of us every week. Go to densepixels.com/premium to visit all of the TNP Studios premium offerings. Those include the best show, The Men with the Golden Tongues. The second best show, the full 2 hours plus of Look Forward, the political podcast with Jay and Andy. You get episodes of The Airing of Grievances, where Jay and I discuss episodes of Seinfeld and relate them to our lives. And I feel like I'm missing one. Oh, No Time to Bleed, which is our action movie podcast, review podcast. And I think I wasn't there. I think Jay has done a We Watch Trash.
Is that the official fifth show in the premium lineup?
Yes. A movie where we sit down and watch just a garbage pail of a film and make comments on it. Don't quote me on that, but if not, then I'll see if I can get him to do one. They were kicking around a movie that I would really much like to be on. So if they haven't done it, yeah. I want to do Mortal Kombat 2. Subscribe to all of the TMP Studios shows wherever you get your podcasts.
That's right. Very cool. And look, going back to the premium thing, if you're a politics junkie, there has never, ever been a better time to get into Look Forward than there is right now. Like, you can go listen to the first hour for free. There's a Look Forward feed that you can get wherever you get your podcast if you want to preview it. But I'm telling you, if you even tangentially, there you go, tangentially pay attention to podcast, go to densepixels.com/premium, put down your $5 to try it for a month. you will not be disappointed. And we should have a new episode of Golden Tongues being recorded soon.
Very soon.
So
yes, very soon.
Look forward to that as well. So quick hits. Final Fantasy VII Remake got its box art. Now, the box art looks, I don't know why everyone was like losing their fucking shit over this. It looks like the same box art from Final Fantasy VII on PS1.
I mean, you know how those people are. They anything that is Final Fantasy VII could be a Final Fantasy VII moist towelette for your butt, and they will be like, "Oh my god, it looks amazing!"
Right? It's just done it's done in landscape view instead of like Instagram cropping view, because that's what PS1 cases looked like. So that's not. Normally we don't talk about box arts because that's not notably news. However, in this case, it is news because, as Square has said, this is supposed to be part one of many Final Fantasy VII Remake games, because of course this game will only cover the Midgar portion of the game. However, looking at the box art, you would not know this because it just says Final Fantasy VII Remake. So, Micah, is this a lie of omission, or is this the only Final Fantasy VII Remake that we're getting?
Both. This is it look at Spider-Man Homecoming, right? Spider-Man Homecoming was the first Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, right? They didn't know I guess they did know if they were gonna do a sequel, but they didn't say part one. You know what I mean? I can see them doing another one, saying Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. They did it for Final Fantasy X. They called it Final Fantasy X-2.
Oh no, they're going to call the next one Final Fantasy VII-2.
You know what? That's right. No, Final Fantasy VII Remake -2.
Oh my god, they're going to put the remake before it too officially. And they've done it. That's not the only time, because 13 also had 2 and 3 versions.
Yeah.
Or actually, I guess Final Fantasy 13-3 was not Final Fantasy 13-3. It was Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns.
Oh, all right.
So
whatever. It'll be Final Fantasy VII Remake straight out of Midgard. So, but yeah, I mean, all right, it's the box art. It looks exactly what I thought it would look like, except it's brighter and not dark. Look, I'm still excited for the game. I just I'm not one of those people that's like Final Fantasy VII like birthed me, and I love it forever.
The thing that I'm still very confounded about when it comes to this game is that this game, they've said, focuses on a section of Final Fantasy VII that you could play on the original version of the game in about 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah,
essentially.
One disc. It was one disc.
No, it wasn't even one disc. The Midgar section was just the first. It was almost like an extended introduction to the game of sorts. Yeah, like you can almost argue the game really began once you got out into the open world, right? But they're saying that this is going to be a full length game experience that's as long as any other Final Fantasy game that's out there. So what the fuck are they going to pad this disc with?
They're going to do the dialogue and the cinematics are going to be fleshed out more.
I guess that would certainly add a lot of time in having fully voiced dialogue scenes instead of text.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do, because I'm thinking about like I have the scene in my head of when you get out of Midgar, and I thought they were lying, because wouldn't the perfect place to end this first game be with, spoiler alert, Aeris' death?
Yeah, but that's way further on. So much happens between leaving Midgar and that actually happening.
Yeah, you're right. And
like you literally get to the northern continent on the map before that happens. And that's after you traverse westward in the first place.
So how are they going to do any potential sequels that won't come out?
No idea. I'm assuming that instead of having an overworld that you can walk through, you're just going to be able to just like fast travel between locations, essentially.
Yeah, you're gonna have to, right?
That's the only way that they can make that work, I think.
And they said we'll find out in March how streamlined this is, because they're like, oh yeah, this is going to be a streamlined version of the Midgard part, and like that's
you're gonna have to do an unstreamlined version of the Midgard part. You're gonna have to tease out a lot of these mundane scenes.
Yeah. So I'm very curious to see how this little experiment plays out.
We'll see. I actually like how the Turks were represented in the new trailer that they showed at TGS a couple weeks ago. I will admit. Like I said, my excitement for this game hovers at a solid above medium boil right now. Essentially. Now
that I see that it's coming out, and now that I've seen how it plays, I'm excited for it. Although they were like, yeah, and we're gonna have a classic mode.
Yeah, we talked about that. It's not necessary.
Yeah, it's all right. Like, just make people play the game. Like, if you're getting this and then you play it in classic mode, like, fuck you. Like, seriously, yo. Like, just play the game. Like, it's available everywhere 3 times over. So, all right.
So Microsoft's Xbox One game streaming service, Project xCloud, is getting a public preview test in October. It's going to let players play games like Gears 5 and Halo 5 Guardians on their phones and tablet. If you want to get in on this preview, you can register for the closed beta on the xCloud website. Beating Google Stadia to the punch, Micah, with those sweet Xbox exclusives that are apparently Gears of 5 is even more worthless because you can just play it for free now, I guess. Unless I guess you have to own the game. Unless you have to own the game in order to participate in this beta.
Let's hope that that's the case for the developer's sake, because yeah. And even still, I'm not playing Gears on a phone.
No.
I'm not playing most games like this on a phone. I don't know. The first comment I see is this person says this actually has me excited to see how they will change the gaming landscape. Our convenient pocket devices are more powerful to handle the inbound and outbound communications. Do you think that this is a step forward? Like, this is the direction that gaming is going in now?
I think having the same experience on multiple screens, yes. But no, I mean, you're not going to be the dude whipping out your fucking phone with your controller mount to play Gears 5 on the train. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, that's a lot of setup, man.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, PlayStation has their app where you can turn on your PlayStation and use the iPad or the iPhone or whatever, portable device you have. And it works, but it's not like I can't play games like that. So
it feels to me like this is almost like a novelty use situation. Like, we've talked before about Stadia. Like, I could see this being useful if you go on like vacation, but you don't want to have to bring your game console with you, but you still want to have access to your games, or if you're going like on an out of town trip and you'll have access to decent Wi-Fi so that you can take advantage of this. Like, that's useful, I guess, but it's such a niche case. Like, I can't think of any instance where if I'm home, I would opt to play on a different device as opposed to my big screen.
Yeah.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, it doesn't. So.
Oh, quick aside, non sequitur. I got hands on a Switch Lite finally. That is a mighty comfortable device.
Really?
I must say. The size is like perfect. The triggers are better than the ones that are a little bit more they feel a little bit more analog, a little bit more mechanical than the ones on the Joy-Cons do.
They feel like actual triggers.
Yeah, and the D-pad is also a welcome change from the 4-button layout on the Switch controller. Micah, I am loath to tell you to spend any more money on anything. But for your specific use case, it's not bad.
Huh.
As far as like comfort and feel in the hand. And this is coming from, me with big hands who finds the regular Switch to be a little uncomfortable to hold on in portable mode.
Yeah, I'm not buying that thing. I
almost wonder if you could. Well, you actually dock yours at home, don't you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I dock it because I need to charge it. Like I took it to work today, and I played it for a couple of hours, but then I docked it when I got home because it takes a long time to charge.
But do you ever play on
the
Do you ever play on the TV though?
It depends on the game.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends on the game. Like I bought Dragon Quest 11, and I haven't really gotten into it. That's why I didn't talk about it yet. But I can't see me playing that on in handheld mode. I bought Bulletstorm because I'm dumb.
You talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and there's no way I'm playing any type of twin stick anything on that in handheld mode. I can't do it. I have no idea how Overwatch is going to work on that thing. But
we'll see.
Good luck to them.
We'll see. They should make that fucking docked only.
Right.
No handheld mode available. So yeah, Project X Cloud. If you're looking forward to that, go sign up for the beta, and you can let us know how it works. So Call of Duty. Let me tell you something. Call of Duty series, bringing a hard-hitting campaign to the mix, getting rid of the season pass, enabling cross-play for the first time ever. One of the biggest games in the world enabling cross-platform play for multiplayer. All of these things endearing themselves to the Call of Duty community and the game community, but it's Activision. You know that they're going to fuck up somewhere along the line, and sure enough, they have. Turns out, the fourth mode in the game, the Spec Ops Survival mode, is going to be exclusive to the PlayStation 4 for 1 year from launch.
Jesus.
So, as you might expect, Micah, PC and Xbox One players are not happy.
Yeah, your bread and butter, the people that got you to the dance. I can imagine them being a bit pissed.
One massively upvoted post on the Call of Duty subreddit said, quote, "A new Call of Duty game will be releasing when this is out on Xbox and PC. What the fuck?" And another quote that the tin hats are on in Reddit of the Call of Duty subreddit, Micah. "I'm almost certain this was part of Activision's deal with Sony to have cross-platform play in Modern Warfare." This seems like a tremendous unforced error.
Yeah.
Tremendous unforced error. And look, I understand why they did it. They have a deal with Sony in place of that PlayStation gets exclusive content because there's a marketing partner. And being as you're not doing a season pass anymore, the month long, which turned into week long exclusivity for multiplayer maps with the last Call of Duty, is not as enticing of a draw, I guess you could say. So I guess they needed something else. I suppose I should commend them for not gating certain weapons behind the PlayStation or certain mods or things of that nature. But man, way to squander a ton of goodwill that you had just done a tremendous amount of work building in your community with this.
Meanwhile, over at Bungie, they are literally popping bottles. Yeah, I mean, I would almost want like exclusive guns and stuff like that instead of like an entire game mode. I see this tweet from this one dude.
I was going to read the Taylor Kurosaki tweet. He is a let's see. He is the narrative director for Infinity Ward. Quote, let's be honest, ruining is an exaggeration in response to the implication that they're ruining this game. Survival is 1% of the game. The other 99% is simultaneously day and date across all platforms. I'd rather have everyone playing 99% of the content at the same time than 100% of the content sometime later. Now, to me, this underlies the main point. If it's such an insignificant part of the game,
right, then what's the big deal?
Right.
Like,
why are you fucking up like this for such and if it is such an insignificant part of the game, why would anyone play it anyway?
Right.
So good job, Infinity Ward. And I'm sure this will blow over. So when the game comes out, people will be excited to play it. But it just, we say any news is good news is the old adage, but not in the game industry. Sometimes there's not. Sometimes there's legitimately not good news. The last story of the week, Micah, you're going to have to speak on eloquently because this, when you read this headline, this doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So maybe you could describe what the fuck's going to be going on. Mortal Kombat 11 is going to be adding 3-player co-op raids to Mortal Kombat 11.
So what this is it's a game mode that is basically an asymmetrical multiplayer experience. Mm-hmm. So you have in the towers, you'll have a raid boss, and you and 3 friends, I don't know if they have to be your friends, but you and 3 friends can go in and do damage to this boss. And I believe you can do it at any time. When I was looking at the Kombat cast, they were talking about people doing it all at the same time. Mm-hmm. And you can all, like, say you, myself, and Terrence are all fighting this boss at the same time. We're all damaging, and the boss has just like massive amounts of health, right? Like there's no way you are going to win this in one sitting. But we are all doing damage to the boss at the same time, and you can kind of compete with one another to see who is damaging the boss more, and all this wacky stuff. It's basically an asymmetrical multiplayer experience.
So you're not directly fighting this main boss, correct?
No, you are. You are fighting this boss. When you go into the tower,
right,
you are fighting this boss, and you are doing whatever damage to it. Let's say you end up doing 575 damage to the boss, who has 1 million hit points. I don't know if you can go right back in it or if it's gated off, per time. Like a couple of mobile games that I play have this same type of setup where you are in an alliance. You have to defeat a Rancor. It's a Star Wars game. You have to defeat a Rancor. Your team, your group of characters goes in and does as much damage to the Rancor as possible. Someone else's team does as much damage to the Rancor as possible. At the end of the day, not at the end of the day, but at the end of the match, your damage gets tabulated, and you find out how much damage the boss has left. Same thing with the other person, and then eventually all that'll sync up. I've seen it done before, and I think it's very interesting.
It is that. I would have to kind of see it in action. Because the word, so it's interesting that they're calling it team raids, because that word raid has a very specific connotation in gaming as it is. Like when I hear raid, whether it's a Destiny raid, whether it's like a World of Warcraft raid, or whether it's like a raid boss that like Borderlands has, for example, I'm thinking like the hardest pinnacle content that the game has to offer. And I'm thinking something different in terms of unique mechanics or like a unique style of gameplay that you have to kind of go with. Like I know like the Borderlands raid bosses often are in arenas that you could actually get launched out of to your team's detriment. So like if you're going in solo, it's much more difficult, but if you're working with a team, you have to hurry up and get back in there before the boss, cleans out your crew basically. So like I said, I'd have to see this, whatever this mode is, like I'd have to see it in front of me to understand how it works.
Honestly, I think it's basically you are fighting an uber level opponent.
But how do you win that match? Do you deal as much damage as you can and then die and then whatever?
Yeah, you deal as much damage as you can until you die, and you keep going at it. And this is the tricky part. I don't know if you are allowed to go right back in. Right. Normally with stuff like this, you're not allowed to go right back in. You are gated off for a certain amount of time. In my mobile games, once you die, you can't go back until the server reset, which is midnight.
Okay.
So with this, I'm thinking the same thing. You might not be able to go back in until the server reset at 11 a.m. Eastern. And then you can try again. And you keep doing it until A, the tower expires, or B, you kill the boss. And then when you kill the boss, you get a bunch of different stuff. And the way Mortal Kombat is set up, they already have every battle is like a gimmick battle, right? Like every, so I can see the boss having, touch of fire and, darkness or whatever, where the screen will suddenly go black or something like that. They already have that mechanic in the game. So this is just kind of the next logical step. And they already have, stronger opponents in the game. You just need two people in order to do it. And then it's like Mortal Kombat tag team.
Do you care enough about this new mode to check it out when it drops?
No, not at all. Okay. I can't look. I like Mortal Kombat 11. But the thing I hate about it is the thing that they're touting the most, and it's all the gimmicks. I don't want to have to dodge missiles coming at me. I don't want to have to be wary that if I get too close to the opponent, I'm going to freeze and be helpless. I don't want to worry about the fact that if I touch the opponent, then I'm going to be set on fire. Like that shit is fucking frustrating, man. Like I just want to fight. That's it. I just want to fight. And then they're like, well, you can use these augments to counteract all the stupid stuff. Well, then if I'm using augments to counteract all the stupid shit, how about you just take all the stupid shit out? Like, I just want to fight, yo. Like, it's a fighting game. Your fighting game engine is good enough that it should be able to sustain just the regular match. There should be enough nuance within your fighting engine that you don't have all these stupid fucking gimmicks, man. No, I will not be checking this out. I think it's it's interesting. I think it's fucking dumb, and I hate it.
I was not expecting that to fly out of the box when I opened it up. Man. So,
speaking of that's a terrible segue.
No, you can absolutely segue that. Are you kidding me? Speaking of boxes, speaking of gold boxes,
speaking of stupid stuff, go to densepixels.com/Amazon and do all of your Amazon shopping there. When you go to densepixels.com/Amazon to make all your Amazon purchases, a portion of those purchases go to us so that we can keep the lights on. Go to densepixels.com/Amazon. Let me see if I can find something. I think Spider-Man comes out by the time you're listening to this. Spider-Man, the Mysterio edition. I forget the
Far From Home. How do I do that?
Yes, Far From Home.
Jesus
Thank you.
Christ.
So go there, go to densepixels.com/Amazon and go buy yourself Spider-Man Far From Home.
But pick free Super Saver shipping when you do it, because you don't need that shit tomorrow. You can wait until Friday. Save that old man from running around the Amazon warehouse. So we're not going to talk Borderlands quite yet because we have to talk about State of Play. Sony had their State of Play news conference or video conference or whatever the fuck you want to refer to it as. And so I will give this over to Micah, who did not watch the conference, yet he's going to tell us the news.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting. We kicked off with the reveal of Humanity, a mysterious new title being developed by THA Limited. Yeah,
they're the same folks that did I don't remember. They did something else of note for PlayStation. I will figure that out as you move forward.
Then we launched into a deluge of new reveals and updates on long-awaited games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Medieval, the demo is out, Civilization 6 finally coming to PS4, and Arise, A Simple Story. You also get the October PlayStation Plus games lineup, which Brad spoke about before, The Last of Us Remastered and MLB The Show 19. Very convenient that The Last of Us Remastered is coming out. Are you going to give that game another shot?
No.
Yeah, I ain't doing it either. It's not even scary. It's just like tense for no damn reason.
Yeah, when we get to Last of Us 2, I have some thoughts as to why. I figured out why I don't like that game, but or why I don't like that series.
Excellent. If you're in the market for a new PS4 Pro, we've got some bad news. Kojima Productions' upcoming Death Stranding is getting a beautiful limited edition bundle featuring a 1 terabyte PS4 Pro console in an eye-gouging translucent orange DualShock 4, mirroring the style of the game's BB Pod.
And also piss. But you can also do it in the game. I'm gonna choose to think that the controller is inspired by the fact that you can pee in Death Stranding. So, first of all, the folks, the THA Limited, the folks that are doing Humanity, they did Rez and Tetris Effect as well.
Okay.
So that's the kind of game you're looking at there. So every limited edition console looks fine. This is actually one of the few that actually looks different in the front, so you have something different to look at. When you look at it, every single special edition PlayStation controller, as cool as the controller is always ruined by the controller backing having to be like this solid color that's kind of close to the color that the controller is, but not really close to the color that the controller is. Like, I have the crystal clear one, and that one is cool, but like the backing is like silver, doesn't really match the rest of the controller. The gold one is the worst offender. Like, the gold one has like that chrome gold on the front, but then it's got this like gross, like fucking off yellow, like almost like a fucking like the color you'd paint your bedroom kind of yellow on the back. This one suffers the same thing where, like I said, the controller's piss colored and then it has like an orange background. Which I guess is appropriate because isn't that tank orange that you carry the little baby thing around in? I don't fucking know.
It's also the color of the embryonic fluid that's in that pack.
No,
that
it's
you
piss.
Carry the baby with.
It's piss. Drink some water, Norman Reedus. That pee is too yellow.
You get a sneak peek. You got a sneak peek of upcoming PlayStation VR games, including Gorn, Espire 1 VR Operative, After the Fall, L.A. Noire: The Case Files, because that's what I need as a black man to be in a virtual 1940s, and Space Channel 5 Kind of Funky News Flash. Finally, they ended the episode with a new trailer for The Last of Us Part 2, and I didn't even bother to watch it because I'm just not into this series.
We are so you and I are like the oddities here because everyone loves
Apparently.
The Last of Us. It's coming out February 21st, by the way. That was the big reveal at the end of the trailer. I like to have fun when I play games. You know, it's not fun being stressed out all the time and being sad all the time about what's going on inside of the game. The Last of Us was a very, like I said, it was a landmark game. Can't deny that. Did very cool things with gameplay, with storytelling. Kind of, not necessarily new, not a new story, but
I've seen Children of Men.
Right, right. But the game's a downer. Like, it's a big downer. You got fucking people, like it's a depressing environment. People that you like dying all the time. You're fucking stressed because you don't have any equipment in your backpack ever. And again, that's the whole point of that game. You're not supposed to feel powerful. I get it.
Yeah.
But there's a reason that I don't play Resident Evil anymore either. Like, I don't feel like being stressed out about zombies coming after me. You know why I like playing Destiny? You know why I like playing Borderlands? Because you're a fucking badass rolling around with an arsenal of crazy space weapons, slaughtering things.
Right. You're throwing out flaming knives at people out of thin air.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And again, if you like, the tragedy that is The Last of Us, that's your prerogative. I don't begrudge you. But that's not why I play video games.
I don't need and I'm not saying that this is you, but I don't need a story to be happy in the end, as long as it's a good story. I usually prefer the stories with like twisted monkey paw style, fucked up endings. But I don't mind watching them. I don't want to experience it. You know what I mean?
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up, because obviously, like, a good story is going to have highs and lows, but the key point is highs and lows, not just lows the entire time.
Right.
So,
it just maybe it's just it's your birthday today. You're getting old. You're feeling your age.
Yeah.
Like I don't need all that. I want to have a good time, folks.
Oh, the other big thing you missed by not watching the trailer is that Joel is in the game. Like, he is alive. He is there doing stuff.
Now, wasn't Joel like a piece of shit by the end of that first game?
I don't think he was a piece of shit. I think that a lot of people disagreed with his choice that he made. But I can
barely remember.
He wasn't a dickhead, I don't think.
Okay, I can barely remember it. But look, if you're happy, if you're excited, more power to you, man.
And I'm sure, by the way, that Final Fantasy and Watch Dogs Legion are throwing up the middle finger over at Sony right now, because man, the next spring is going to be really fucking stacked.
Yes, it is. Like, there's a guy naked on a chair getting tortured. Like,
I mean,
I don't need to see this.
I mean, look, to be fair, that specific scenario, you and I really can't complain about, because that's in one of our favorite movies.
I mean, look, again, it's a movie. Like, I don't want to experience, I don't want to expect, like, all right, look, there's a shot of Ellie fighting off a dog. Fuck you. I'm not playing this game.
Oh, no, apparently, yeah, dogs are like legit. Legit enemies in this game.
Nah, I'm fucking terrified of fucking, yo. Mm-mm. I don't need to experience this, 15-year-old girl pulling arrows out of her shoulder and getting attacked by fucking vicious fucking wolves and dogs and shit. Nah, man. Nah, that's too much stress, man. It's too much stress.
So that was State of Play. No mention of the supposed Batman game that may or may not be coming from WB Montreal, to the surprise of many. So we will have to stay tuned for news of that. So if you don't want to hear Borderlands spoilers, if you don't want to hear about the Borderlands 3 endgame, this is your chance to eject from the podcast. This is going to be the last thing that we talk about this week. So if you tune out or hit pause and come back to it after you beat the game, then we'll see you next week. But yeah, me and Micah have both played, or both finished Borderlands 3, the main story. We are both, Micah is level 50. I'm almost at level 50. We have started our foray into the end game content. So I figure we could talk a little bit about the story of Borderlands 3, which I actually found to be, in totality, probably the best one that they've done so far. Even if there was no character with the charisma of a handsome Jack.
It was very much greater than the sum of its parts.
It was. And then we'll talk about the end game and how we're enjoying that and how much we see that being part of our future. Let's talk about the story first. I was surprised when Maya died as early as she did. But I didn't care that much either.
I was not surprised because it's the exact same beats as Roland's death. All of a sudden, this character who you had the opportunity to play as in a previous game, all of a sudden, this person has a bunch of fucking personality and jazz hands and all over the place. And oh, hey, I'm going to come on a mission with you. Like, and it's somewhere, it feels like it's, the culmination of the end of an act. Yeah, I knew she was a goner from, I had a suspicion that she was a goner when she escorted you on your mission. And once we fought the creature in that first vault, I'm like, all right, well, this feels like the right story beat, given Maya is a mother figure to this child who will ultimately, become a siren also. Like, yeah, this is, she ain't long for this world.
Well, that's probably why they did it in the first third of the game, because like you said, it's kind of repeating a same pattern from Borderlands 2. I will say that the fights against the vault monsters generally were pretty good, even though the Ravager one was a bit tedious if your loadout wasn't set optimally, for sure.
Yeah.
Really like those. The boss fights, for the most part, I really did enjoy. Of course, the best one in the game, probably the fight against the Agonizer 9000.
Yeah, when I first started that mission, I'm like, yo, I know I've heard that guy's voice before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who is this? And then when I got into the thing, I was like, oh, okay, that's Penn Jillette, because I know the sound of the world's most famous, one of the world's most famous magician libertarians, and it was cute to see them in the game.
It was, and they were pretty much just playing themselves in like a Borderlands either. That fight was just really, really fun though. Like the fights that I enjoyed the most are the ones that had actual mechanics to them. Like that like the fight against the Agonizer, like it had different attacks that you had to be very wary of and actually use some of your different skills, like your slide and things of that nature, in order to get past them. I also like the introduction for that. Like it was very much like a, like, hey, we want to kill you, but we also got a show to put on here, so go ahead and pick your entrance music before you come in, and like all this kind of shit. Like that whole Carnivora section was a pretty cool part of the game, I thought. Yeah. Obviously, there's some not so great bosses, and there's some that were just bullet sponges as well. Like as much as I enjoy the Captain Trant character, I did not enjoy his boss fight all that much. Yeah, because it just seemed like I was just unloading like a immense amount of bullets into him, and then hopefully not dying from his little elemental shit that he had going on in the game.
Yeah, when the boss is just a bigger version of an enemy, this particular fight isn't going to be interesting.
Right. The end boss I thought was pretty good, even though I did not struggle too much. I didn't die on either Troy or against Tyreen.
I had more trouble with Troy than I did Tyreen.
Interesting. Yeah, with Troy, I mean, with both of them to some extent, but Troy especially, I just stayed on the move. Like I just kept strafing him essentially, and none of his attacks really touched me too much. So that was pretty easy. As far as final bosses in Borderlands goes, I guess Tyreen was the most difficult, but that's only because I cheesed the shit out of the final boss fights in the other two Borderlands games.
Yeah. I mean, you could just duck behind that one corner in the first Borderlands,
right? And in the second one, you could kind of just hang out on the side of the arena, and like the lava attacks would never get to you and stuff like that. So I mean, that's so So I kind of cheesed my way through those. So this one I actually had to do legit because there was nowhere to hide on that platform that you fought her on. And I did appreciate that they had the different attacks that she would switch up to, and they had the climbing portion of the boss fight as well to try to angle up to her weak spot. It was almost Shadow of the Colossus-ish, but on the most rudimentary level possible.
Yeah.
In some ways. So overall the story was solid. I did enjoy Tannis getting revealed as a siren. Like that was actually somewhat unexpected.
Yeah.
Didn't really see that coming. The ending with Lilith was very interesting. I'm not sure what to really. I feel like that's going to be addressed in DLC in some way, shape, or form further on down the line.
Yeah, I guess she's gone. I guess. But what a wonderful excuse to play an Alicia Keys song. Like sometimes, like part of me, like conspiracy theory me, feels like they got the rights to that song and they were like, let's just write an ending around it. Like, let's just give Lilith her powers back so that we can have an excuse to play this song. But yeah, I pretty much agree with you. I enjoyed the story. The characters, they kind of got on your nerves. They started to grate on my nerves a little bit, but they were supposed to. And much like a good wrestling heel, like you're supposed to hate them, and then you come around and you eventually love them. Like they're the Baron Corbins of the fucking Borderlands universe. You know what I mean? I
will say that I did enjoy like the Typhon de Leon character actually throughout the entire game. Like for some reason, like having that dude be somewhat the Indiana Jones of the Borderlands universe is pretty fucking funny because like it's like some dude from Queens basically, essentially. And like I said, tying him in with the villains of the game was also, I think, an interesting plot twist that probably should have been predictable, but at the same time, because they don't really address it too much during the game, it does come out of left field a little bit.
Yeah. It caught me. I wasn't expecting it, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense. He reminded me of that bagel dude who got yelled at and screamed at for being short.
He's like the more assured version of that guy, basically. Like
look what happens if you just walk around with big dick energy, dude. Like you could be the first Vault Hunter instead of this angry little man at a bagel shop.
His little echo logs that you find scattered throughout the universe are just fucking, because like every story that he tells is so like matter of fact. But like some of the shit that's happening there is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, even like the story of him consummating his marriage. Like yeah, we smashed the boss, and then I smashed it. Like, oh, my wife in the bed. Like, all right, dude.
Like, I love the fact that he even created like a boudoir inside of one of the vaults. Basically, shit's hilarious. Yeah, so for the most part, the story, like I said, was definitely the most cohesive of any in the Borderlands series. Ice-T was fun. I'm glad they got him for more than just a mere cameo in the game, because that was pretty humorous. To just basically have him playing Ice-T, but inside of a pink bear, essentially. But it was good stuff. So basically, as soon as the game ended, I went right to Mayhem mode and put on Mayhem 1. I've been running around on Mayhem 1 since the game ran out. That's been a pretty good way to kind of keep your energy up so that you're not just running past enemies. Well, I mean, sometimes you still run past enemies, but you feel like when you engage with enemies, it's worth doing because you actually might still get a decent amount of XP, a decent amount of loot from them, which is something you could not do in the other Borderlands games unless you were playing on True Vault Hunter.
Yeah.
So that part's been nice, and I've really been enjoying the Proving Grounds so far. That's a pretty good piece of endgame content. I don't know how long that enjoyment will last because it is pretty much, there's not much to it. Like, you just go in there. I've been doing match made Proving Grounds, so I'm usually going in with a full team of people that I just pick up online. and just slay the shit out of monsters, basically, or slay the shit out of enemies, and you get a lot of loot. Even on Mayhem 1, like, I'm basically gaining a level in my late 40s every 2 proving grounds, so that's been a very efficient way to level up. It gets you a shitload of cash, it gets you a shitload of other loot. I'm getting tons of Guardian levels from it, so like that's been a very efficient manner of going through the game, and I've been clicking off and doing side quests here or there as well, because this is a achievable platinum trophy, so I'm trying to kind of do everything, and hopefully we can get that knocked out within the next couple weeks here. So far the endgame's been satisfying. Now, I want to talk about Circle of Slaughter real quick, and I know you wanted to as well. So, I never really did Circle of Slaughter in Borderlands 2. So, this Circle of Slaughter is kind of like the Horde mode in the game. I did not know that apparently there's like permadeath in Circle of Slaughter. So, like, when you're in there with your team, if you die and you don't get revived, you're basically out until the next wave of enemies comes in. And if your team gets wiped, then you failed that round, I guess.
That round, and you have to start the round over.
Right.
So, I've only been doing Circle of Slaughter.
Interesting.
I've not done the Proving Grounds yet.
Now, are you doing that with people, or are you doing it solo?
I'm doing it with people, with randos.
Interesting.
And
are you on Mayhem mode?
Yes, and I have completed it on Mayhem 1. But I've only completed one of them on Mayhem 1, and that is the Cistern of Slaughter, the one where you fight all of the animals, all of the creatures. I've tried the Slaughterhouse or whatever it is, the second one. The second one is very difficult.
Maybe that's where I erred, because when I did matchmaking, I've only done it once, and when I did the matchmaking, it was the second one that they dropped me into.
The second one locks you out, and you can't do anything about it. You can run up and try to help your team from the sniper's position, but even still, you could die. You know, like if the enemies catch your aggro, they will fucking shoot at you, and you can die in the base. If you go into the Cistern of Slaughter, at first I thought it was glitched, right? But apparently it's not. You go down an elevator, and if you die, you can just keep going back. As long as there's somebody alive on your team, you can keep going back. And that has been where I rack up the levels and the loot. You put it on Mayhem 1, like if you do the regular level, you're just gonna get, greens all over the place. Right. But if you put it on Mayhem 1, every couple of minutes a legendary will drop. And all of that stuff is super expensive. So you could pick it all up, sell it, and get like $1 million, right? That is the one that I would go to. It's also the easiest, right?
You don't really have a choice though. Like when you do matchmaking, doesn't it just dump you into one or the other? You know what you can do? You can quit right back out that bitch. You can either quit out and try to roll again, or you can go to the Cistern of Slaughter and set your privacy to open. How long does it usually take you to get folks in your game when you do that?
I've only done that once. I think it's quicker to just hop out and hop back in, especially because the only bad part is if you hop out and hop back in, they boot you all the way to your character select, instead of, Sanctuary where you could just do other things. But yeah, I would just hop out and hop back in. And I really, really enjoy it, actually. That second one is a kick in the dick, though. Like it's, and I haven't done the third one yet. I haven't found the guy.
I think there's only 2.
No, there's 3.
Is there 3? Okay.
There's one in an area that looks like where you fought the ninja ball.
Okay. You should try the Proving Grounds. They are fun, I think. It's more like I don't want to say a low intensity version of Circle of Slaughter, but it just, I don't know, like I like the pace of them a little bit better. The only downside with the proving grounds, you have to activate them first. Well, at least you have to activate the first one. Like once you activate the first one, you can queue up for the other ones. But if you want to get them in your game, you have to actually find the different pedestals. It doesn't take very long. They put them on the map for you to seek out, but you do have to still go turn them on, essentially.
Oh, okay. All right.
The first one's in Devil's Razor. You have to do that one first before you can do any of the other ones.
All right. Yeah, well, that's wow. All the way in Devil's. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I could do that. But yeah, Circle of Slaughter. That's where I've been, and that's where I've like I would just hop in there if I was under level because I was really trying to burn through these levels very quickly. So I would hop in there if I was under leveled, and because some of the side quests are fine, right? But some of them are really long. And I'm like, I don't have time to do this. I gotta hit 50 before Tuesday.
Some of them are a lot of fun though. Like I'm enjoying the ones. I actually enjoy playing the longer ones because they are the ones with the better stories and usually the most absurdity. Like the 2-second ones for the most part are kind of banal. I did like the Chad one. That was pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
But yeah, the multi-part ones, like I just did the one where the dinosaurs and the fucking jabbers are feuding with each other, and so like you have to basically deliver messages to them, and then you end up meeting, the jabber leader and the fucking dinosaur leader in like a 3-way like cage match essentially to see who the superior being is. Pretty fucking funny.
I'll have to go back. I have a ton of side quests, and I'll have to go back and do them. If I can muster up the energy to go back and do those side quests, then I will. Then yeah, I might just go ahead and try for that platinum, because that's the only time consuming part. Because there are a ton of side quests.
But see, the side quests, like if you wanted to, you could kick off mayhem mode and just trash through them. Like if you really wanted to.
Yeah, I might, but I might actually do that. So because now that I'm 50, like there's no point.
Right. Other than farming legendaries, but that's about it. So
yeah, I call myself being slick. I'm like, oh, okay, I got this because I bought the Borderlands, season pass or whatever, and you get legendaries with it. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna wait till I'm level 50, and then I'll open the mail. So that
it's all
I
level
can
10.
It's all worthless past level 10. I have a level 50 gun, and all of the perks stop at level 10. So now I can't even equip it on a different character because it's a level 50 gun. God damn it.
Any favorite legendaries so far?
Not particularly. There's one submachine gun that I kind of like because I'm playing an elemental Amara, and it's even more elemental damage with added melee. And like I'm all the way down the orange. I'm all the way down the elemental tree. I'm halfway down the mystic assault tree, and I only went to the brawl tree just for the health regen. Because the first time that I fought Trount, I was under level, and I needed a health regen. That's my build. I love status effects and shit like that. Yeah. Like all these Amara brawl players, like I don't understand you. Give me status ailments all day.
You and I did kind of the same build. I went all the way down the blue tree instead, and most of the way down the red tree. Or the orange tree, as it were. I'm still using Phase Slam with the Phase Grasp kicker, where any enemy that gets damaged by it gets grasped if they don't die, which has been handy. Both legendary Jacob's revolvers are excellent. I sent you the one. Once it became,
I do actually like that.
Once it became useless to me, the fucking flood, which lets you unload 6 shots in half a second automatically. And then I got another Jacob's revolver today. That's the normal like 5-shot revolver, but every shot ricochets like 20 bullets to other enemies. So like if you're fighting people in a crowd, it murders everybody essentially as you go. Both Hyperion shotguns are great. The one I think is called the Bruiser. It's got a 13 round mag, and you can auto fire all 13 shots in like 2.5 seconds, basically. There's another one. It's like the cash loaded. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a lightning gun that basically it's a lightning shotgun that when you shoot people, it chains lightning to any enemy that's in the vicinity as well. So again, if you walk into a crowd of enemies with that shotgun, you could just melt the shit out of everybody. Like shoot one guy and kill everyone around that person as well. Those have been the best ones so far. There was the damned assault rifle, which is pretty good. That lights targets on fire. I'm trying to think of the other ones I really like. Those have been, I got the hex grenade as well, which you can throw. Basically, like when you throw the hex grenade out, it's a shock grenade, and it kind of just creates like a coil, like a Tesla coil around the enemy. And if you throw multiple, it'll just keep like you'll just see like a fucking circle of electricity surrounding anyone that's near them. Essentially,
yeah. I've seen other people use them in the Circle of Slaughter, and it's blinding when you have multiple people using those things, man. Like it's just, I was like, Jesus Christ, like this is fucking amazing. No slowdown, like the game in some aspects performs well, but in other aspects, like I need to get to my menu real quick to change from.
Yeah, and it's weird because I'm even in like performance mode on a PS4 Pro, and it still has the slowdowns. It still has this king. Like I wonder if I should just put it on resolution mode, because I think when you do that, it locks it at like 30 FPS, and then that's it. So
it's still a bit of an issue.
Okay,
but
are you in resolution mode on yours?
I am now, because I'm like, all right, well, fuck it. Like the game is still going to perform like this, so let me get the most bang for my buck in terms of graphical fidelity, and but yeah, I'm bringing up a gunner next, because I usually bring up gunners. I usually do those first. Apparently, I should have done that first, because Moze and Flak are the ones that you can just fucking blow through the game.
Yeah, every gunner that I've paired with in Proving Grounds like is using like the 1 HP build for Moze, where she has like 1 health but the mech's out all the time essentially.
Oh yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. And but I'm interested to bring up that, and by the time I level Moze up, they'll nerf her. Don't nerf her. You're not playing against people, so there's no reason to nerf anybody.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to nerf a whole lot. I mean, there's one perk in the Guardian rank tree that they had to nerf a little bit, but it's all the way down the attack side. So it's something we don't have to worry about for a little while, because we don't play that much. Like we're not playing 8 hours a day, so to have to be Guardian rank 3,000.
I like how they even say, once you select it, they're like, oh, you can't use this yet.
Right.
Because we have to fix it.
So, like I said, I'll be happy with the next patch if they do where you can set it so that your friends can hop in your game without an invite necessary. That would be nice. And like I said, I could see Borderlands is going to be the game that I come back to when they have something going on. So, like when they put the raid boss out, well, I'll hop back in. When Bloody Harvest is going on, I'll hop back in. And Borderlands, starting with 2, started doing seasonal events. So that'll probably be the points where I come back and check out Borderlands more. But I will be staying with it, I think, long term with this one.
Yeah, I at least want to bring up another character. I was talking to a friend of mine who was using the operative, and I'm like, I think I'm too dumb for the operative. He just seems very complicated to me.
We'll see. I'd like to run all 4, because the other ones, like the other characters that I have, I'll probably like Amara will be the person that I do all of the campaign content with, and then literally everybody else, I'm probably just going to do matchmaking and just jump into people's games.
Yeah,
and do it that way. So.
Yeah, I've done that a couple times. It's not bad. For the most part, like some people are just kind of scatterbrained and don't know what they're doing.
Right.
So if that's the case, I'll open my game up to the public, and I've had pretty good experiences, just kind of going through basically doing what I want to do. Because you jumped into my game. So we're doing these story missions, damn it.
Well, and I, from what I understand, as long as you're not worried about experiencing cutscenes and like listening to, like, if you're not experiencing the story, then playing with other people is fine. And if you're in someone else's game, be courteous and don't, run to the next travel point or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, remember that you're along for the ride, essentially.
Yeah.
So that is it for this week. Thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to join our fan group, densepixels.com/fans on Facebook. We're always posting in there, talking games every single day with our community. Don't forget to follow us on social media at densepixels. Subscribe to the show on whatever app you use for your podcast. Go to youtube.com/densepixels and subscribe there. On Twitch, you can follow Terrence at Apparition410, and you can follow Carrie at SuppetsCarrie. Carrie, of course, still taking donations for her Extra Life stream. That'll be happening in November. So if you go into the fan group, you can find a link where you can donate if you're able to contribute there. So again, that is it. Thank you all very much for watching and listening this week, and we will see you all the next time.
See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here, and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.